The WNBA has come out numerous times. There's no place for hate. There's no place for racism.
Brittany Griner comes out and says, I am so sick and tired of the WNBA. It used to be a peaceful, small little thing. Now there's crowds screaming, hollering.
Is going to massively affect the WNBA.
The amount of people in yellow 22 apparel is stunning.
Caitlin Clark is the closest thing that they have to quality play.
WNBA without Caitlin Clark remains an attraction that not many people want to watch.
They tried to silence her with shoulder checks, jersey grabs, and bruises that went uncalled. They even benched her, not with a foul, but with a quad strain that's kept her out 3 games. And somehow, Caitlin Clark is still running the WNBA. Because when Angel Reese got caught in a travel, with the cameras rolling and the crowd on edge, it wasn't a referee who called it out. It was Clark, standing in street clothes on the sideline, arms folded, flashing the travel sign with a smirk that set social media on fire. No word, no drama, just a smirk, a gesture, and another viral moment that trended #1 on X before the next possession even started.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
The craziest part? She didn't even play that night, yet somehow everyone was still watching her. So how did we get here? From being manhandled in Atlanta, to mocking her rivals from the bench, to single-handedly forcing ESPN to rewrite their primetime schedule? The answer starts with a stomach bug, a broken game plan, and a player the league can't seem to stop, even when she's not on the court.
The jerseys, the number 22, the various styles, whether it's a t-shirt with 22, whether it's an Iowa jersey, whether it's a Fever jersey, a throwback, I mean, whatever.
Rewind. The night Atlanta tried to break her. It was supposed to be the blueprint. Just 72 hours after Caitlin Clark's showdown with Angel Reese drew a jaw-dropping 2.7 million viewers, the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years, the Atlanta Dream thought they had cracked the code. The plan? Bully the rookie, frustrate her, embarrass her. They assigned the task to 2022 Rookie of the Year, Rhyne Howard, long, athletic, and fully committed to the mission.
Caitlin Clark, the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. She is the most valuable player in the league.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She signed my jersey! I'm so happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT!
From the opening whistle, Howard played less like a defender and more like a shadow, grabbing Clark's jersey, digging elbows into screens, chirping after every whistle. And when Clark spun away from a midcourt jersey tug and threw a theatrically polite thumbs up toward the ref, the crowd laughed, social media lit up. But Caitlin wasn't playing for memes. What fans didn't know yet, what Atlanta had completely underestimated, was that Clark was fighting a stomach bug that night. Her legs were dead weight, her energy was shot, but she still refused to sit. For 6 straight minutes, Atlanta hounded her. Clark looked stranded at the top of the arc. No air, no rhythm, no answers. The Fever fell behind by 9, and the arena started buzzing like they'd just solved the puzzle. They hadn't, because while Atlanta was busy trying to break her, Fever coach Stephanie White was already flipping the script, and what happened next would flip the entire game. The counterattack. Atlanta thought they had her cornered, but Caitlin Clark didn't shove. She didn't scream. She pivoted, literally and strategically. If the refs wouldn't protect her, she'd protect the ball. She slowed the game down, widened her dribble, started baiting defenders into overcommitting. Drives became decoys, passes became daggers. Then came the moment that flipped the mood in the arena. She lasered a left-handed bounce pass between 2 defenders, straight to Natasha Howard for a wide-open layup. And as the ball hit the net, Clark turned and chirped, "Try grabbing that." The camera caught it. The crowd felt it. And for the first time that night, the Dream's confidence wobbled, but Atlanta doubled down. Rhyne Howard shoved her after the whistle. Another forearm to the ribs. Still, no flagrant, no call, no reaction from Clark, except one line the microphones barely picked up. "I'm not scared of you." That line hit highlight reels like a match to gasoline. By the time it reached Twitter and TV, Stephanie White had already pulled the pin on the next phase of the comeback. Because if physicality could shut down one player, it couldn't stop 4. Sophie arrives, and everything changes. Coach Stephanie White didn't flinch. While Atlanta celebrated early bruises like trophies, White emptied her bench, not out of panic, but precision. Out came the tired starters. In came pure chaos. Sophie Cunningham, still nursing an ankle sprain, sprinted onto the court like someone dared her not to. Lexi Hull, the league's top sniper from deep, flanked her. Kelsey Mitchell bolted to the corners like she'd been shot out of a cannon. And right at the center, Caitlin Clark, suddenly directing traffic like a symphony conductor with blood in her eyes. What followed wasn't basketball. It was geometry warfare. First possession, Hull flared off a stagger screen. Swish. Next, Cunningham ghosted behind a daydreaming defender. Reverse layup. Atlanta panicked. Switched to a zone. Clark yo-yoed the ball. Skipped a one-handed dart to Mitchell. Cash. In 4 possessions, the 9-point deficit was nearly gone. And here's the kicker. With Clark, Cunningham, Hull, and Mitchell all ball on the floor, the Fever scored at a staggering 1.47 points per trip, nearly double their output from earlier. It was like someone had flipped a switch. Hull prowled the corners like a sniper. Cunningham dove for every loose ball like it owed her money. And Clark, still just 1 for 8 from the field, piled up assist after assist like it was personal. The Dream were reeling. And Atlanta's Clark solution? It was officially obsolete. Trash talk, viral moments, and the calm before the detonation. The scoreboard was tightening, but the sidelines were heating up. Ryan Howard wasn't finished. Even as Caitlin Clark racked up dimes and momentum shifted, Howard barked across the court, "Can't guard me!" And for a moment, it looked like she was right. She drilled a top-of-the-key three, bobbed her head, and pointed straight at Clark. The arena exploded. Viewers at home could feel it. A heavyweight exchange, 2 rising stars, 2 clashing styles. Clark, she didn't flinch. She jogged back up court, chest heaving, eyes steady. The basketball found her hands. 1 hard dribble left. Step back, bang. Her first 3 of the night. The 140-game streak, a made 3 in every outing since college, had looked dead in the water. Now it was resurrected. But that wasn't the moment that broke the internet. It came minutes later. Angel Reese had just been caught on a travel, and Caitlin Clark, standing on the bench in street clothes, leaned back, lifted her arms, and flashed the travel sign. Slow, deliberate, with that half smile that's quickly becoming iconic. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The clip exploded across social media. Hashtag Clark mock trends #1 on X. Commentators scrambled. ESPN cut in live. And Caitlin Clark, still sidelined with a quad strain, was controlling the narrative without playing a single second. That's when Sophie nudged her on the bench and said what everyone else was thinking. She's rattled. And from there, the Fever pounced. The fourth quarter and the fire that followed. The fourth quarter didn't begin with a shot. It started with a look. Caitlin Clark was down 3, breathing hard, but wearing that eerie calm shooters get right before they detonate. She ran a split action screen for Lexi Hull, drew 2 defenders, and popped out to the wing. Hull slip baseline. Bucket. Next possession. Clark faked a handoff, darted inside, kicked to Sophie Cunningham in the corner. Money. Just like that, the Fever took the lead. Atlanta called for a response, and Howard answered with a deep triple, pounding her chest, yelling, "You can't guard me!" Clark didn't jaw back. She nodded, almost amused. Then came the foul, 30 feet from the basket. Clark stepped to the line and quietly tied the game at 72. That's when Sophie Cunningham transformed. She jumped a passing lane like she'd read the future, ripped the ball, Euro stepped through traffic, and scored again. Then on the next trip, she just yanked the rebound away like it belonged to her, sprinted full court, crossed 1 defender, then 2, lefty layup. Fever by 4, a minute and 41 left. Atlanta called timeout, but Howard looked dazed, staring into space like the court had shrunk underneath her shoes. And in the huddle, Clark wasn't yelling. She leaned in and whispered, "Swiss bank pass on 3, secure as gold." Teammates laughed, the tension cracked, and that's when the Fever closed the door. Screen, collapse, kick to Hull, 3. Howard answered, another jumper, another scream. But Clark, she ran the clock down, froze the defense, and skipped a left-hand laser to Mitchell. Splash. Then, with 18 seconds left, she drew a foul. 2 free throws. Swish, swish. Game over. Final score, 81-76. But the scoreboard didn't capture what really happened. What happened was that Atlanta tried to rattle her, drag her down, and beat her with muscle. All they earned was a viral meme, a national headline, and another L. The fallout and what it means now. The game had ended, but the shockwaves were just beginning. Within an hour of the buzzer, league sources leaked that the WNBA was reviewing multiple moments from that night, especially the ones where Ryan Howard's elbows, forearms, and shoves weren't just aggressive, they bordered on reckless. No fines were handed down that night, but the message was loud and clear. The physical play targeting Caitlin Clark had crossed a line, and people were watching. Then the rumors started. Clark, as it turns out, had played the entire game with a stomach bug, surviving off electrolytes, grit, and sheer spite. Reporters described her performance as quiet brilliance wrapped in bruises. The league? They didn't confirm anything, but fans didn't need to hear it twice. The narrative had changed. What started as, maybe she's not built for the league, was now, if they can't stop her when she's sick and hacked for 40 minutes, what happens when she's healthy? And the numbers backed it up. That game, a random mid-season Thursday, hit over 800,000 concurrent streamers. It broke into ESPN live coverage. It trended across every platform within 30 minutes. The message wasn't just for Atlanta, it was for the entire league. This rookie wasn't just special, she was unbreakable. And now, weeks later, with Clark sidelined by a quad strain, with Angel Reese taunted from the bench, with ESPN rewriting their schedule to flex in every Fever matchup, the ripple effects from that game haven't faded, they've only grown louder. The ratings boom. Everyone's betting on Caitlin. Behind the scenes, one sound was louder than the trash talk, the fouls, or the viral clips. It was the sound of money. In the weeks that followed the Atlanta game, television execs scrambled. ESPN issued a press release citing historic momentum. Ratings were up 115% year over year. And just like that, the WNBA, a league used to getting buried under baseball and hockey in June, was flexed into primetime. Why? One word, Clark. Her game against Reese broke 2.7 million viewers. Her dust-up with Howard turned a sleepy Thursday into a national moment. Even benched with a quad strain, she made headlines from the sideline by flashing a travel sign that turned Angel Reese into a meme. Every arena she enters is suddenly sold out. Every game she's in becomes the game to watch. And every person who tried to diminish her as just a college shooter shooter, they're now watching their teams shift entire defensive schemes around her. Even Sabrina Ionescu, a star in her own right, tweeted after that Atlanta battle, "See you soon, Rook. That's not rivalry, that's acknowledgement." And ESPN, they saw it too. They added a flex clause to beam every Fever versus whoever showdown straight into living rooms across America. No more blackout nights, no more off-prime time hours. Caitlin Clark isn't just dominating the box score, she's reprogramming the algorithm of the entire league. The return, the rivalries, and what no one's ready for. She's been out for 3 games, no three-pointers, no assists, no viral midcourt passes or quiet jab. And yet, Caitlin Clark has never been more present. Angel Reese is still talking, the refs are still fumbling, and the WNBA, whether it's ready or not, has become a league built around her orbit. Now, all eyes are on one question: what happens when she comes back? The Fever faced the Liberty at Madison Square Garden, a team loaded with all-stars led by Sabrina Ionescu, who didn't just tweet, "See you soon, Rook," she meant it. And Clark, she's expected to return, cleared from her quad strain, with fresh legs and a clearer target on her back than ever before. The league says it's reviewing its physical play rules. Stephanie White is adjusting rotation, and Sophie Cunningham is expected to rejoin the lineup at full speed, meaning the Fever will return with all 4 closers on deck. This isn't just about Clark anymore. It's about how many people tried to stop her and failed, about how Atlanta pushed her, how Howard shoved her, how the refs ignored it, and how somehow she's still winning the narrative without raising her voice. So now, we ask the only question that matters. If a stomach bug, a quad strain, and a league-wide effort to beat her into silence couldn't slow Caitlin Clark down, what exactly will? If you're still here, you're not just watching the drama, you get it. You see what's happening in this league, and you know it's bigger than just highlights. I cover every twist, every rivalry, every unfiltered moment like this. So if you're into that, hit subscribe and be part of the real story.